Hi everyone, welcome back to Coffee, Books, and Rain, where I've got my coffee. We're talking about books, and we actually have a rainstorm going on outside. Now, it's just turned into a drizzle because it was actually coming down pretty well outside, but I just peeked, and it's still drizzling a little bit, still kind of raining a little bit, but I'm okay with that because we had actually had maybe 80% chance of rain yesterday, and I don't think it rained a drop. Today, it was about a 50%, so I had my fingers crossed, and we got it. I will say that I took out my trash not too long ago, and there were some big, chunky, very dark clouds going on, and so I was kind of crossing fingers and doing my little hopeful rain dance in my head because I wanted some rain. We needed something to cut through this super humid, gross, hot blanket of weather here in Alabama right now. So I'm super glad. The temperature has dropped from about 96 to about 76. So I just feel like I should go outside just to enjoy that little bit of reprieve. But we are not talking about the weather. This is not a weather channel. We are a book channel. And we are talking about Gideon the Ninth. This is a book that I don't know why I avoided for as long as I did. I think, and just being honest with myself, I think the reason I avoided it is because I had heard the hype, was not sure what I was about to get myself into, was not sure if it was going to be up my alley. And even though one of my best friends had recommended it to me because she loved it, I was still on the fence whether it was going to be something that I was going to enjoy. And looking at the cover, as you can see, we've got this individual who's got skull face paint, some red hair, and they've got a sword, and it looks all dark and gothic. Should be right up my alley. I am such an emo kid at heart. This should be a thing that I would read. And I don't know why I didn't. This book has been out since, and I just want to make sure I get it correct, 2019. So I have had 5 years to read this book, and I only just read it 2 weeks ago, I guess. Loved it. 5 stars. Absolutely 5 stars. Do not know what was wrong with me, but I have finally rectified the situation. And so let's dive in, shall we? The Emperor needs necromancers. The ninth necromancer needs a swordswoman. Gideon has a sword, some dirty magazines, and no more time for undead bullshit. Brought up by unfriendly, ossifying nuns, ancient retainers, and countless skeletons, Gideon is ready to abandon a life of servitude and an afterlife as a reanimated corpse. She packs up her sword, her shoes, and her dirty magazines and prepares to launch her daring escape. But her childhood nemesis won't set her free without a service. Harrowhawk Nonagesimus, Reverend daughter of the Ninth House and Bone Witch extraordinaire, has been summoned into action. The Emperor has invited the heirs to each of his loyal houses to a deadly trial of wit and skill. If Harrowhawk succeeds, she will become an immortal, all-powerful servant of the resurrection. But no necromancer can descend without a cavalier. Without Gideon's sword, Harrow will fail and the Ninth House will die. And of course, some things are better off dead. So, just right there, just starting off, we get this fantastic vibe of not only some sci-fi, we get some horror vibes because we've got skeletons, we've got ossifying nuns. There's just so much cool, gory, crumbling haunted house imagery going on, right? I should have loved this. I should have picked this up so long ago, and I didn't. And maybe that's why I didn't, is because it seemed too good to be true. One of the things I also think I had kind of shied away from is the first time someone kind of told me about it, I think for some reason in my brain I thought it was going to be super spicy with regards to romance scenes, and I just wasn't in the place to want to read that. And I will tell you, I was so very wrong. There are some really fun scenes where the main character, Gideon, just absolutely has um, all sorts of lesbian queer crushes on, like, the other, like, entire female cast of characters. However, it's just, like, I would say it's not spicy. It's fun, and it's just so very Gideon, and in all the best ways. Like I said, she, like, or as the summary says, she carries around her dirty magazines. And the opening scene of this book has Gideon as she's trying to leave her planet. Now, I will say, so you have to imagine each of these planets, each of these 9 houses, is encompassed on a different planet. So the 9th house is kind of like my friend Emily described it as Pluto. It's kind of the outlier. It is the outcast. It is the one everyone tries to pretend doesn't exist. And it is like the most gothic. It is the one that has the spookiest vibes with the crypts and like all that sort of stuff. Now everybody else has necromancers. That is not the problem. This particular house, though, of necromancers really, really delves into bone magic. So theirs is really more all about the, like, the gory bits, as it seems to be. And so Gideon, though, is is really one of the only people of Harrowhawk's age. So Harrowhawk is our necromancer. She is the 9th house's necromancer. She was born to be the necromancer. So when the emperor says, okay, all of the necromancer heirs come to my planet because we are about to do a trial by, kind of this trial by combat, Harrow is the one from her planet who is supposed to show up. Well, Harrow's supposed to have a cavalier. It's pretty much kind of like a sword kick swordsman sidekick. I think I said that wrong. Well, she doesn't have any other options but Gideon. And Gideon, on the day that Harrow kind of enlists her help, is trying to get off planet. She is literally just about to jump on this shuttle with all of her worldly possessions and flee. She has been trying to leave pretty much her entire life, and she has just finally figured out the way that she can do it. And of course, her plan goes wrong. And Harrow is like, she's like, I can't believe I have to, I need you. I don't want to need you, but I need you. And once we're done, you can go. It's fine. You'll be free. Whatever. And so they go together, and it is very much like frenemies. They are enemies in so many different ways, but they're really the only 2 people that they have to kind of lean on. So Harrow and Gideon have to work together because the other houses, they don't know who they can trust. And it is such a cool story. I will say that I don't think I've run across a more unique story in a very long time. Reading this for the first time, I was so pleasantly surprised because were there tropes? Sure. But I think they were done in such a cool, unique way that it made it all feel really unique. I will say that somebody says this is an enemies to lovers sort of book. I will disagree with that. I do not think we have enemies to lovers between Harrow and Gideon. I think we probably have enemies to maybe loyalty, or enemies to friends. But to true friendship, to where it's more like a ride or die situation, but not like a soulmate situation. And so I will die on that hill, if anything. Once they get to the planet, the Emperor's planet, it is very much what I would call, this is more of a locked door murder mystery, because the other planets all show up with their cavaliers. And so now you have this cast of characters all pretty much locked in this haunted mansion together, and they have to solve puzzles of what it takes to become this immortal being. And I think they don't really understand that they could work together. They're all working kind of against each other, and so people kind of start dying because it does become very cutthroat. But I think that, again, they don't really understand they can work together. Nobody really tells them any different, though. So, that's alright. It's just more drama for us to work with and work through. Gideon gets a crush on this one particular character, and she is just about as kind of sickly sweet as possible. And I say sickly sweet because I kind of picture her as like a bubblegum sweet. Like, what is her name? Her name is, I'm kind of looking real quick. All of the names are just phenomenal, because you got Gideon Nav, you've got Harrowhawk Nona Gesimus, you've got just like, anyway, I'm just blanking on the names because they're all just cool, but I just feel like now that I have tried to tell you that they have cool names, I can't remember a single one other than the two main characters' names. So, go pick up the book and then you'll see that they have cool names. I will say that somebody else kind of wrote that this was a queer necromancers in space. Yes, but I don't think that's a super huge selling point. I think you just have queer characters, and yes, a lot of them are necromancers, and yes, you're in space, but I don't think that putting that all together as like a super big tagline is like a super, like, we're not having like a gay pride parade, what I would say, in like space. I think the relationships are incredibly well done. I think the moments that are done are pretty powerful. I think some of them are really cute. I think some of them are hilariously fun. There are certain moments where you're just like, oh, and then some of them you're like, quit it. But like in a kind of a cute way, because there's one point where Gideon herself, she's like, why was I cursed with being so attractive? Because she's just like, she's got a crush on just pretty much everybody, so instead of like blaming like herself for like crushing on everybody, she kind of just blames herself for being so attractive. And so that's what I'm saying, is like I wouldn't have put that all together as being like, yes, this is a selling point, because we're not having like any sort of like ridiculously large orgy in space. That is not what we're doing here. We are actually having a pretty cool kind of mystery solving adventure through a haunted house where people are dying, and we're trying to figure out why and how and who's doing it and all that sort of stuff, and crushes are happening and you don't know who to trust, and so maybe you shouldn't have a crush on this person and maybe you should, and I just don't know where things are going. But when everything comes down to it in the end, it is so very cool, so well written, loved it so much. I am already starting on Harrow the Ninth, which is the second book in the series. The third one is Nona the Ninth. Then the fourth one, I think it comes out next summer, Electo the Ninth. So, just throwing that out there for you guys, that we do have several more. I'm only like 10% into Harrow the Ninth, so should it continue to go as well as Gideon did, then I will probably do an episode on it as well. So we will cross our fingers and we will see how it goes. And I just hope that it does go as well as the other one did, because I had an amazing time. I laughed and kind of like guffawed and all those sorts of funny things. And I actually did an episode with my friend Emily, who is the one who recommended this book, for the podcast Books Are Magical, which we will be releasing early in July. So probably by the time this episode comes out, the episode should be available on the podcast Books Are Magical. So please go find it. Please check it out. see what you think, and you're actually going to get to hear so much more about the book and the characters and all of that world building. And yes, so cannot talk enough about it. But anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. Do you like space books? Do you like necromancers in space? What do you think? Anyway, leave a comment down below. Let me know if this is a book that you would read, have read, on your TBRs, on your DNFs, like anything like that. And I will see you guys on the next page. Thank you so much. Bye.